Good morning. This is the BLAINESWORLD podcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you can get further information and listen to previous shows on our website, www.blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And tonight, it's my pleasure, today, to introduce Laurie Gardner, Realtor with Nest Realty, and she's also known as the WNC Pet Loving Realtor. And what you can do, Laurie, if you would, is feel free to wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this.
Hi,
Okay, great.
everybody.
And I just love, we'll talk about this name, the Pet Loving Realtor, but people, in terms of introducing her, people with pets look at homes differently to make sure it's perfect fit for them and their furry loved ones. Laurie has passion for animals and real estate, and she's created a map of dog parks, daycares, pet-friendly hotels, and rescues in Buncombe County. She's part of the Asheville Humane Society's Paws Fund, where she donates part of her commissions from each sale to the organization, partnering with their mission of continuing to help animals in the area. Very cool. Laurie, the question is, as a kid, you grew up where?
I grew up in Western Maryland.
Okay. And when you were growing up in Western Maryland, did you have pets?
We did. We started with cats, and then we got older, and my parents gave us a little more responsibility, and then we finally got some dogs.
Okay. How old were you when you got the dogs?
Probably about middle school. My brother was in high school, and I was in middle school.
And at that time, so at one time you had both dogs and cats together?
Not together.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we grew into the dogs.
Because some people do it, right? The dogs and cats can coexist, right?
They do. It's amazing. Some people just introduce them right away and they just click. I'm a little nervous, but they do their thing.
Well, my wife has the same apprehension as you. And I think the key is what you said, just I guess how you introduce them. If you just, that's a given, but she has the belief that, you shouldn't have them together. But anyway, so growing up in Maryland, did you always know you wanted to be involved with pets?
I think so. It definitely progressed as I got older. As soon as I got out of college and then bought my first house, again, I started with a cat because they're very independent. I
Sure.
didn't have to ask anyone for too much help when I went out of town. Um, And then my first dog on my own was a Saint Bernard.
Oh,
I figured if you're gonna have a dog, I'm gonna have a dog. And she was great. She was great. She didn't like many people, but she was my person. And then since then, I just got to love animals more and more. And then I knew people who had goats or chickens or pigs, and I do not have any of those yet, but I won't rule them out
but the
in my
Saint
life.
Bernard is no longer with you.
She's no longer, her name was Wheezy.
Oh, what a shame but that's not a small dog,
It's not a small dog, but she was a couch potato, and that was about what she did best.
So talk about then, you always loved animals. What got you into real estate?
Well, I didn't get into it just until probably about 3 years ago. I always loved houses. When I was in high school, I would rearrange my room and redecorate my room and help my mom around the house. So I just always loved everything about a home, which kind of turned me into a homebody, but I enjoy it. But a couple years ago, when COVID hit, at that time I was a teacher assistant for Buncombe County Schools for about 9 years, and I was then home. So I was like, okay, this is the time I can finally focus on what I've always wanted to do. So I signed up for the real estate class and really focused and took the time. I did not realize what all was involved, but it turned out great. And I'm meeting such amazing people throughout the process that I probably never would have met if I didn't take the leap. So it just kind of all fell into place right at the right time.
And so now you've been in real estate for a bunch of years here now. Did you your first job, was that with Nest Realty, or you switched then?
It was not. I started, I
Okay.
love the idea of a very small firm. I feel it's more personable. My first firm, there was three of us, so it may have been a little too small. And then I moved to a firm in Weaverville. They were amazing. It was a little bit bigger, offered a lot of classes. I really got to make some great friends. Um, and then I heard about Nest, which, as things progress, I'm like, I have to find the best fit for me and what will help me get out there into the world. And Nest is just, they're an amazing firm to be with. They offer so much, they do so much for the community, and just a great group of people.
Now, in terms of you work with Nest, so I guess you can become a listing agent or a buyer's agent, right?
Yep, we can do both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you specialize in one or the other?
I tend to get a lot of first time home buyers, which is everyone I've had so far. They're amazing. So I'm like, okay, this might be who I work with, but I'm open to listings as well, or I'm open to people who are coming here and retiring, because let's face it, Asheville's a very popular place for people to come and enjoy their retirement life. So I am not opposed to helping anyone. I just get a lot of first timers.
Well, it must be very exciting, especially with first timers, to be the
Yeah,
one to put them into their first home, or something.
yeah, it's
Um,
stressful.
well, let me ask you this in terms of, again, back to the pet loving realtor. When people come to Asheville or come to buy a house from you, is that something they ask about pets and if it's a good area for pets or not?
They do, because a lot of times, um, a lot of neighborhoods have HOAs and have restrictions. So if they have chickens, I'll have to hold on a sec. Let's go see if we can even have them there. Or there's a limit on dogs. There might be a dog weight limit. Cats, a lot of people like their cats to be inside, outside. Some people, some areas don't want that. They just want them inside animals. Um, but luckily, Asheville has so many areas in and around that we usually have pretty good amount of places to find that will meet their needs for whatever pets they have.
Have you actually worked with people who had goats or?
Not yet. I am waiting for some farm people. Let's do it. And then I want to come visit all the time.
Well, back to some people asking a question. So you can help them answer those questions, or do you tell them how to get the answers to the questions?
I help them as much as I can on my own, but some just love getting out there too, and they'll go walk around the neighborhoods and talk to different people who live there already and kind of feel out for themselves if it's a good location. But I will do as much homework as I can to find out the answers for them.
Now, you were telling me you live in again, the debate is how do you pronounce it, but the Leicester area, you live
Yes, yep,
uh,
I'm right on the verge of Leicester, Leicester, and West Asheville.
by the way, what do you call it? Leicester?
I think I say Leicester more
Okay.
than Leicester.
Well, in terms of people moving to Leicester or near where you are, so is that a good area for pets?
I love it. Our neighborhood, where we are, it has had a lot of turnover, which a lot of places have seen since COVID times.
Sure.
But we have so many people that walk around the neighborhoods with their dogs, and it just feels like our neighborhood and the communities, we're getting to know each other even more now through their pets, because we all want to show off our animals. And yeah, I'm loving it. It's amazing out here.
What amazed me too, when I did research on this for something else a couple of years ago, is the number of people in this area who own pets. And I'll ask you if you know it, but years ago, this was the research. How many people would you say, percentage-wise, own a dog or cat in, say, Western North Carolina? What would you say?
Oh, I would say more than half, just
Yeah,
because when I'm out and about, it's like if you don't have a pet, maybe they're on vacation or not a local, because majority of people have pets here.
because I couldn't believe it. What you said, this was years ago, it was like 70% of all the people own a dog or a cat.
That's amazing.
And I guess the reality is you see mostly the dogs because they're outside. You don't necessarily
Yeah,
see the cats, but that's a lot of pet owners in Western North Carolina.
it's a lot of pet owners, which it gives me hope for all the rescues, and with all the animals that they do have, being in such a pet friendly area just helps them even more of getting these animals adopted.
Well, let me ask you, if somebody's moving into the area, then how do you determine if it's a pet-friendly area? What would you do?
Well, it depends on need. If it's just within the neighborhood, if they have 3 or 4 dogs and they're like, we love this neighborhood, but they just don't accommodate for that. I still try to keep them within that part of Asheville that they want to be. But some people want to be near hiking trails or dog parks. So that's one reason I created my map as well, because all the people vacationing, I put in there also hotels that take pets. So the people who love bringing them everywhere they go, we've got it in there. But yeah, it just depends on what they need. If they want hiking or want to be near restaurants and walkable and a lot of pet friendly restaurants. So it just depends on how in depth they want to be. And I just go to town trying to find them a place that'll meet all their pet needs.
By the way, that is certainly a change in my lifetime and probably your lifetime as well. I was a kid, nobody even thought of bringing pets to a hotel or motel. But
I
right
know.
now, and you've done the research, in the Asheville area, for example, it seems most hotels or motels now take pets.
They do take pets. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's Aloft downtown has
Right.
even like a cute little adoption thing that occasionally they'll have pets there, and hey, maybe someone on vacation will fall in love and adopt an animal.
So if somebody's traveling into the Asheville area, are there, and we'll talk about what you just mentioned as a resource, is there a way to find out which hotels and motels, for example, allow pets?
There are. When I researched, I mean, I just easily Google search like pet friendly hotels
Right.
in Asheville and they pop up everywhere. And
So
Airbnbs, some have those are pet friendly as well.
interesting. Talk a little bit about then this guide you put together. You alluded to. What is it?
Sure. It's a map. It's probably showing up
Oh,
backwards.
no, it's perfect. I have it
It's perfect.
reversed.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
This one, so I started with Buncombe County first, just because I knew there was
Sure.
going to be a lot more, but it's dog parks, daycares, hotels, and rescues. And then, if you could see it all
Oh,
in
yeah,
there, there's
beautiful.
a list in there and a little bit about myself. But I have these right now. I have these set up at the Asheville Chamber of Commerce. People can ask for those. I'm gonna start getting out more and more to the different hotels and stuff too, and getting those out there for people to grab. But yeah,
Looks like a great resource. Let me ask you, if somebody wants to get a hold of that, how do they get it?
they can. They can email me at Laurie Gardner at nestrealty.com or 828-707-6077. You can just call me
Let me have you
text.
repeat that then. So the email was
Sure.
what again?
It's Laurie, Laurie, period, Gardner, Gardner,
Right.
at nestrealty.com.
Okay. If they email you, you'll send them a copy of that? Or get them a
Yeah, they can
copy?
email me and I'll get them a copy.
Okay. And
Yep.
since you mentioned it also, if they want to give you a call or for whatever reason, the phone number was what again?
Sure, it's area code 828-707-6077.
Okay. Again, that's real cool. So if you want to get this guide, which is a great resource, get in touch with you. By the way,
Yep.
I'm thinking also, since you do a lot of work with, I think, Humane Society,
Yes.
do they have the guide as well?
They do not have the guide yet, as they have a ton of resources over there. And I have other rescues in there as well, and I'm trying to help everybody, but I'm gonna get them.
Yeah, I would think since you're
Yes.
doing work with them, I think that'd be a great
Yeah,
resource.
yep.
So what gave you the idea to put this together?
Just we have a Nest kiosk at the Chamber of Commerce. So there's an agent on duty there 7 days a week. And as I'm sitting there and I'm seeing people come in with their dogs, they're on vacation, I start looking around and I'm like, there are no guides for anything for pet lovers. So it took me a little while, but I started, like I said, with Buncombe County first. But I'll venture out to like Henderson County and Madison County and help those counties too. But I just figured there's nothing out there for
No,
anyone.
it's so cool, and you did a beautiful job on it. You probably thought of this, but if they don't want to call you or they want to look it up online, is it on your website or somewhere?
They can get in touch with me. I have a Living in Asheville, North Carolina with Pets Facebook group that is free to join, and they can reach out to me and I will make sure that everyone has the map.
Okay. By the way, two things. So I'm just throwing out to you, you might want to think about making it available online as well. So if they don't want to,
Yes.
if they just want to work at the computer, it's at that Facebook group. And since you mentioned it, Laurie, you just showed it to me off the air. Can we punch it up and just show people what that looks like?
Sure thing.
Okay, we'll see if we can get this going. So there she is. That was quick. Great.
Here we are.
Perfect. Okay, so this is now the website. Laurie, what are we looking at here?
This is my free Facebook group, Living in Asheville, North Carolina with Pets. And everyone can post as many photos as they want of their animals, adventures that they've done. I love helping, as anyone can see, there's a ton of lost animals that are popping up online. I share those on here to help find their homes. A ton of rescues have events going on all the time. I try to put those on there. So if anyone wants to attend any of those events, they can just look on here and find them. But yeah, I think I have a ton of guides within this. Yeah, I'll bring that up for you.
And by the way, so how do they look under living in Asheville? What's they look living in Asheville with pets?
Yep.
That's what they look under?
Yep, that's the Facebook group. And right under here, I have guides that I've created. I mean, this is not just even about pets. If you're moving to Asheville and trying to adjust and find water companies, internet companies, I have a bunch of guides under here that can really help people who are just moving here get started. But down below, I have like pet groomers, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going fast. Let me get down to the bottom.
They're very cool.
Yeah, veterinarian, dog parks, shelters, fence companies. If you buy a house and need to fence it in for your pets, pet sitters. So there's tons of information within there. But if anyone has questions, they can just email me, and I'm happy to help them any way I can.
Now you mentioned something interesting. You're talking about fences.
Yes.
I guess, are there certain municipalities have restrictions where you have to have a fence for your pet, or is that something to check into?
Some places have restrictions and some don't. Some have restrictions on the height. If you're in a specific HOA, I've noticed, I just sold a house to some clients. They don't need a fence because they have a kitty cat, but I noticed everyone was kind of using the same fence company within the community just to keep everything consecutive. But yeah, there's a ton, or the if you could do the underground fence, that's an option too. I know some people don't mind using those, but yeah.
What do you have for your house? So you were telling me off the air. So you have 3 dogs?
We have 3 dogs, and they have a fenced-in yard that we ended up putting pet-friendly turf down as well for them. But if we are not out there, they stare at us through the sliding glass door and want to be in with us. So I guess we could have done a smaller fenced-in yard.
Something you're teaching me. And by the way, we can come back to you if you can just knock that off. We'll get there. You go. Thanks.
There we go.
So you're teaching me something here. What did you say? Pet friendly turf? Was that it?
It is. It's pet-friendly turf.
What makes it pet friendly?
It's a little more durable, and when they put it in, you know, they put the pea gravel underneath, like they dig your yard out some, put the pea gravel down, and then put the turf, and then you can hose it off and clean it.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
Oh.
And so we just had so much mud in this one area that we Google searched and found this amazing company, which I'll have to get the name of. It's been a few years, but yeah, we always have beautiful grass.
That's cool. So it's I never heard of that before. So it's almost like AstroTurf. It's like
Yeah.
the sports stadium.
Yep, but a little bit. It's about 1 inch thick, and yeah, the dogs don't know the difference.
Okay, and I assume it's also a lot easier to take care of.
It is. If it were up to me, I would do the whole yard like that, and then I wouldn't have to mow.
Oh, really? Oh, do you have big?
Yep.
Do you have a big yard?
We have just under 1 acre. Yeah, it's a good amount.
Okay, so that's down in the future. Talk also then, which I think is great. You tie in with specifically work with the Humane Society.
Yes, I signed up. The Asheville Humane Society is amazing. They have a program, the Paws Fund. So each sale I do, I donate a portion of my commissions back to the Humane Society. Not only them, I try to help a lot of the local rescues as much as I can. Even if it's not money, I'll collect towels and blankets and food. Over the years, I've just realized how hard they are working and how expensive it is to help these animals. So just any way I can help, I'm trying to do my part.
So talk about the Paws Fund. Is that the name of it?
Yes, yep,
And
the
what's
Paul's
that
Fund.
specifically geared for?
That is for realtors. So any realtor who wants to sign up, you can whatever portion you feel comfortable with and want to do, at the end of every sale, you just send them a check and they send you a wonderful thank you letter back, and it goes to all the medical and food and all the veterinary stuff they need. It helps them a lot.
Very cool. Do your clients know about that as well, or
They do. After we close on a deal, I send them a letter and let them know it has stickers in there from the Humane Society, and it just informs them what part of their sale went to.
I'll give you a quick marketing idea if you don't do it. But in terms
Okay.
of after you close the sale, do you give your clients, a lot of people don't do this, a little sticker to put on their doors saying they have pets inside?
I just was given a little stack of those stickers, so that is a great idea. Yes.
Because so many people don't put that on their doors, being a cat or a dog. And so I'm
Yep.
telling you, you look great if you give people. So I can't believe somebody gave you a stack of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. It was one of the rescues at one of the events I think it was Laps and Naps. They're a wonderful cat rescue. They gave them to me. So I was like, yay, this is genius.
Okay, great. Or down the road, it'd be more genius if you develop your own, which I think hearing you, I know you will, and then put your name on it and
Yep.
number on it or something,
Thank you.
so
That's a
but
wonderful
but
idea.
it's because so many people, it's amazing, don't do that. Here's something
Yeah.
else. And I don't know how you would get into this, but another thing a lot of people don't do, or which is a shame, is think about their pets in terms of if something happens to them. Meaning that I love what you're giving the stickers, but so many people don't make arrangements for their pets.
Yep.
And it's a real shame because, hopefully you'll outlive your pets, but you never know. So, um, or even I'll give you the hint, in terms of recommending lawyers or something, or having lawyers part of your network, because this is something we've actually had to find lawyers to do that, but there aren't many specialized in that.
Right, right. And have it put in the will.
Yeah.
Who's
Where
taking
I'll
care of
put you on this
the
on the
pet?
spot, or for you and your husband to do something happens to you where the two of you, do you have arrangements for the pets?
Well, my poor parents live right around the corner, so I'm
Okay.
hoping they take all three.
Okay, well, you haven't told them yet, but it'd be nice to.
Yet.
No, but that's lovely. But I'm saying it's something people should think about when they
Yes.
they bring pets into the community.
Yep, they are our family members.
Okay, they are. Yeah, I love it. The talk about some of the other things that you mentioned, your other rescue organizations, and there's certainly a lot of great ones in Buncombe County. Talk about some of the things you plan to be doing or like to be doing in the future.
What I hope to be doing is obviously creating more maps for the surrounding counties so I can help all those rescues too. I right now, and this is the easiest thing, and I think anyone could do, is thankfully with social media, I am sharing all their events that they're doing, all their fundraising they're doing. If they're in need of anything from blankets to food to even Rusty's Legacy is one of my favorite ones because I
I
got
don't
my
know that one. What is it?
they're Rusty's Legacy. They're in Marion, North Carolina.
Yeah,
I got one of my dogs from them, and they do an amazing fundraiser, which actually they have a donor who will match up
very
to a
sweet.
certain amount of money. So I tell people, I'm like, no donation is too, even if it's $1, that makes it two. Like nothing is too small. I know everyone is, it's hard to be able to help everyone because we're all trying to make it through life. But just spreading the word on social media, or I have picked up from schools that I worked at, I've collected blankets and towels and food and toys and dog coats that people aren't using anymore. And all that goes to help these rescues for when they go to events, they need leashes and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to keep getting better at it, but I'm doing my part as I can right now.
Well, no, it sounds yarn. I was impressed with what you just said. You mentioned your last dog was a rescue.
Yep.
Talk about your feeling about that, or in terms of helping. You really want to help animals to go to an event or something and adopt an animal, as opposed to you know, I guess nothing wrong with it, but you're really doing an animal good if you help it have a home.
You really do. I love rescue animals, but I also know amazing people who have gotten their dogs other ways. And that's great too. They have specific reasons for why they got their pets there. But rescues, I think they're doing so much good for the community. And I don't know, there's nothing wrong with the mutt to me.
So that's at least your third one. I'm surprised. I thought they'd be out today or I'd get to meet them.
Oh, my three are on the back porch because they would be barking the
Yeah.
entire time.
Well, same thing too. That's our cat, you know, so I have to
Yep.
close my cat out. She's not invited to be here. Talk about that. I'm just curious since we're talking about it. In terms of if you're showing a home, what's the thinking if you have a pet, you know, and the dog or cat, should they be with you or you put them out for the day or how do you feel about that?
I highly recommend people. I've gone in where I actually just did a showing the other day, and there was Carl the cat, the friendliest cat I've ever met in my life, and I love the name Carl. Um, the agent was great. She just gave the directions like leave the basement door shut and the bedroom door shut when you're finished. So I hung out with Carl and let the clients go through so they could go into the rooms. But I would highly recommend at least crating them or putting them in a specific room. And the same for buyers. I highly recommend not bringing the pets with you to showings because we can't take them into other people's homes, especially if there's allergies or if they have pets. You can leave them in the car if you want to bring them along, but we just don't take them inside when we go to a showing, just to be respectful.
And as you point out, kind of, I know the rule of thumb used to be that you wouldn't have the pets in, because again, do you ever have this happen that you're showing a house and somebody's allergic to dogs or cats, or do people ask you that, by the way?
I just had someone who was allergic to cats and but not enough where the cat could still be around, like they were fine. But I have not yet had someone ask me like, oh, are there pets in that home and if they're severely allergic, but I would definitely want to know ahead of time if someone has any allergies so we can see how we can work around it.
Because we were told when we sold the house not too long ago that they wanted the carpets all replaced, you know, because of the
Oh,
cats.
yep.
And that, I guess that's something you have to maybe expect or come some.
Yeah, yeah, because we know pets and carpet are something to consider, but yeah, it's just something to think about when you're moving into another home. If you have current pets, the sellers had pets prior, maybe they were cats and you have dogs coming in. Like it's just going to be something to keep in mind that you might need to replace carpet or things like that.
Is that ever a problem? Does that happen?
I haven't had it happen yet, but there's always a chance.
So recap a little bit. Let's talk about a couple of things you mentioned. The one thing is in terms of the Facebook page. What was the name
Yes,
of that again?
it is living in Asheville, North Carolina with pets.
Okay, love it. Beautifully, well done job on that. And again, contact information if they want to get in touch with you. Best bet, would you say email or phone? What do you prefer?
Email and phone are great. My email is Laurie, Laurie, period, Gardner, Gardner, at nestrealty.com. And my cell phone is 828-707-6077. And if you see me out and about driving, I do have my Nest license plate and it has the cat and dog plate on there. So please stop me and say hi and ask any questions.
Okay. And I just love it. Again, you have a great title there, Laurie Gardner, Realtor with Nest Realty, but she's also AKA the WNC Pet Loving Realtor. And that is fantastic. You know,
I
so
love it.
well, I do too. And whatever you're doing, just I'm very impressed. Keep up the good work. And hopefully
Thank
we'll
you.
bump into you at some point in time in the future. We're going to sign off and then hopefully I'll be able to wrap up with you after we sign up. But thanks, Laurie, for joining me.
Thank you.